Welcome back to the UMass DAX Introduction to R video series. R is a programming language with statistical analysis at heart. It's all about crunching numbers. This means that, before we can do very much with R, we first have to get data into R. That data will come in the form of Excel spreadsheets, CSV files, and other documents that you will import or read in to R. Now, if you're not sure how that's all supposed to work, don't worry. We'll get there in due time. In this video, we just want to introduce one simple concept that can avoid a lot of trouble with reading in data down the road. That concept is something called a working directory. Now, there are a number of different ways to read data into R. Pretty much all of them, however, will involve telling R what your data file is called, what type of file it is, and where to find it. It's this last aspect that we're going to look at today. Every time you open a session of R, whether you're working in the console or in a script editor, your R session is going to set a working directory for itself. You can think of this working directory as a sort of home base, the launching point for everything you'll be doing in your R session. Importantly, the working directory is the primary place where R will look for the files you're telling it to read in. This can cause problems for beginners who download a dataset into their Downloads folder, for example, but don't realize that R is instead looking in, for example, their Documents folder. Luckily, there are simple ways to avoid making this mistake. For one, R has a built-in command called getWD, which means get working directory, that will tell you exactly what your working directory is at any point. You can think of this command as like the "you are here" arrow on a map. When you run the get working directory command, R will give you what's called a file path, which will specify a folder on your computer. This folder is the one R is using as its working directory, and this is the folder where R will look for the files you try to give it. You may be asking, what if I don't want this folder to be my working directory? The good news is there's an easy fix. R also has a built-in command called set working directory, which will let you change your working directory to be any folder you like. Simply give R the file path to the folder that you want to serve as your working directory, and there you go. Make sure you put the name of the file path in quotation marks, or R may have trouble finding it. Think of a file path as an address that helps your computer navigate through its folders. Let's say that I have a folder on my desktop called DAX 601, where I keep a notes document. To find this notes document, my computer has to navigate through all of my files. I think of the desktop folder as a zip code, the DAX 601 folder as a city, and then the specific notes file as a street address. The file path describes all of the folders needed to hone in on the address of my specific file. As you progress with R, you'll find that it's important to save your files in a clear system that you can understand. For now, however, the most important thing is to understand what your working directory is and how to change it if you need to. This will help save a lot of time and trouble down the road. That concludes the lesson for this video. Be sure to pause here and make sure that you can complete this checklist. If you have any trouble, please reach out to the DAX Tutoring Ambassadors. We'll see you in the next video.